Voyager 2 just crossed the final border. And then something spoke back. NASA has officially confirmed it. Voyager 2 has left the Sun's protective shield, the heliosphere, and entered true interstellar space. After more than 4 decades in flight, drifting over 12 billion miles from Earth, the probe has become our farthest explorer, and it just did something no one expected. In the silent, frozen dark between stars, Voyager 2 sent a signal. But this wasn't normal data. It wasn't scheduled, it wasn't noise, it was different, mysterious, structured, and possibly intentional. Launched in 1977, Voyager 2 has quietly cruised beyond our solar system for years, but recently, NASA's Deep Space Network picked up something strange. A transmission unlike anything ever received from the craft, buried in static, wrapped in rhythmic pulses, and laced with slight frequency shifts that hinted at encoded information. This wasn't a technical glitch. Engineers ruled out system errors, signal degradation, and even interference from Earth. The instruments on board, though outdated, were working as expected. Yet this message kept coming, subtle but deliberate, repeating in intervals, never identical, almost evolving. The deeper researchers dug, the stranger it got. Inside the transmission were precise patterns, mathematical ratios, geometric sequences, and even prime numbers. These aren't random, these are markers of intelligence. The signal's consistency across vast space and time points to one thing: it wasn't a fluke. And Voyager 2 may not have sent it on its own. Had the probe entered a region where messages echo? Or was it intercepting a broadcast meant for someone or something else? What started as a curious blip is now a global mystery. Scientists are scrambling for answers, conspiracy theories are exploding, and one question is shaking the scientific world. Did Voyager 2 just make contact with something we've never seen before? Before we dive deeper, hit that like button and subscribe, because what comes next could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the cosmos. What if the silence of space wasn't silence at all? For decades, we believed that deep space was quiet because it was empty. But Voyager 2 just shattered that belief. Its mysterious transmission suggested something far more unsettling, that the silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of something we've never understood. Almost immediately, scientists scrambled to revisit decades of data, not just from Voyager 2, but Voyager 1 and a host of deep space observatories. Patterns once dismissed as noise were now being re-examined. Had we missed something all along? Had Voyager 2 crossed into a zone where communication itself changes, where reality bends and signals behave unlike anything known? Because this wasn't like the wow signal or random radio bursts. This wasn't just a cosmic oddity. It was a direct interaction with a spacecraft we built. That meant something, or someone, saw Voyager 2, knew it wasn't natural, and responded. It was the kind of moment that could redefine human history. Voyager 2, a probe launched in 1977 with less computing power than a modern watch, had become more than a machine. It was now a messenger, a point of contact. The scientific world lit up with theories. Some believed the signal came from advanced machine intelligences, digital remnants of civilizations that had long outgrown their biological origins. Others proposed Voyager 2 had stumbled into a kind of celestial memory field, where messages from ancient cultures still echoed, waiting for something to receive them. And then came the more radical voices, suggesting the transmission wasn't extraterrestrial at all, but interdimensional. That the rules of physics Voyager 2 encountered weren't just unfamiliar, they were from somewhere else entirely. But the biggest question was simple. Why Voyager 2? Voyager 1 crossed into interstellar space years earlier and never received anything like this. The key difference? Voyager 2 exited in a different direction, through the southern boundary of the heliosphere. Had it passed through something hidden? A corridor? A relic? A beacon? Despite its tiny 23-watt transmitter, no more powerful than a refrigerator bulb, Voyager 2 had captured a signal no telescope ever had. a whisper in the dark, shaped with purpose, carried across the void. When NASA visualized the transmission, stripping away interference and converting it into audio and waveforms, the world was stunned. Musicians, data scientists, and signal analysts pored over it. Some heard intentional patterns, melodic pulses, structured gaps, as if something was waiting for a reply. Was this just coincidence? Or had something out there understood us? Theories exploded. Was it a naturally occurring plasma phenomenon? Some form of dark matter interaction? Supercomputers ran model after model. None of them could reproduce the precision, the rhythm, the intelligence in the signal. One thing became undeniable. This wasn't random. It was organized. Yet nothing followed. No second transmission, no new anomalies from other probes, just Voyager 2, alone, carrying the only clue. Why such silence after such a spark? Why this one message and nothing else? That silence was haunting. It felt deliberate. Voyager 2 wasn't just any spacecraft. It carried the golden record, Earth's message to the stars. A disk etched with greetings, songs, and images meant to outlive us. A cosmic handshake extended into the unknown. Maybe what Voyager 2 received was a handshake back. It wasn't confirmation, it wasn't proof, but it was enough to shake the foundations of science, philosophy, even religion. Because once a signal is heard, once a pattern is found, the universe stops being a void. It becomes a conversation. And suddenly, we're not just looking up at the stars, wondering if anyone's out there. We're waiting to hear what they'll say next. What began as a faint, unexplained signal has now stirred something far greater than scientific curiosity. It's sparked a global shift in how we see the cosmos and ourselves. Policy experts are already predicting a major pivot in space exploration priorities. Funding and focus are quietly moving toward deep space missions, advanced communications, and next-gen probes. Ideas once confined to science fiction, quantum transmitters, AI-guided navigation, autonomous signal decoders, are no longer futuristic dreams. They're becoming urgent necessities. Because Voyager 2's whisper from the void changed the rules. It didn't just capture noise, it became a cosmic listener, a question flung across the stars that may have been answered. Now humanity stands at the edge of a new era, one not built on conquest or mining asteroids, but on contact. Real, unsettling, electrifying contact. Around the world, people are looking to the sky again. But this time, it's not just wonder, it's hope. Hope that something or someone is out there. The Voyager 2 signal reignited that ancient flame. It reminded us space exploration isn't passive. We don't send machines just to measure temperatures or map stars. We send them to ask, and sometimes the universe replies. That signal wasn't a glitch. It wasn't just an anomaly. It was a spark, planted at the far edge of known space. A whisper woven into the static, daring us to listen closer. It doesn't hand us answers. It forces us to question everything we thought we knew about being alone in the universe. Whether the signal came from ancient machines drifting through time, from a hidden intelligence watching us silently, or from some natural force we don't yet comprehend, it marks a turning point. Something out there noticed Voyager, something responded, and that changes everything. The implications didn't stop at mission control. As engineers scrambled to reconnect with the aging probe, a deeper current surged across the world, in universities, think tanks, and living rooms. This wasn't just a technical puzzle anymore. It was a spiritual and cultural tremor. Because this signal didn't just imply intelligence, it hinted at a kind of logic, a structure, a purpose, alien in every sense of the word. It didn't resemble any known language, but buried in its rhythm were mathematical echoes, repeating ratios, symmetry, sequences. There was order, intention, but not in any form we'd recognize. It didn't think like us. It didn't speak like us. Maybe it didn't even exist in time like us. The deeper teams dove into the signal, the more surreal it became. NASA worked to coax another reply from Voyager 2, adjusting its ancient systems with surgical precision. But communication is slow. Each message takes 18 hours just to arrive. Every command feels like a shot in the dark. Still, scientists refused to let the moment pass. They launched simulations, ran particle flow models, mapped electromagnetic anomalies. Some proposed that Voyager 2 may have passed through a warped region of space-time, a pocket shaped by quantum forces or cosmic relics. Others dared to ask if this was deliberate. Could it be a trap, a net, or even a waiting room? Some physicists floated the concept of intelligent voids, vast engineered zones designed to distort or amplify specific signals. If true, it would suggest a technological capability far beyond our own, the power to reshape space itself. But then came the most haunting idea. Maybe Voyager 2 was never meant to hear the signal. Maybe it intercepted something sent long ago for someone else entirely. A lost message in the dark, caught by accident. That chance encounter, a probe stumbling into someone else's cosmic conversation, feels more mythic than scientific. And that's why this story didn't stop at science. Artists, filmmakers, musicians, and storytellers rushed to respond, not with sci-fi cliches, but with something more intimate, more human. The story of Voyager 2 has become a mirror. It reflects our deepest fears, our boldest hopes, and our craving to not be alone. The signal didn't just reach Voyager 2, it reached us all. In the days following the transmission, something deeper began to unfold. Around the world, stories emerged, not just of space and science, but of who we are and how we see ourselves in the face of the unknown. This wasn't just about deciphering a message, it was about confronting what that message says about us. If someone or something out there truly reached out, how do we respond? Do we speak as one planet or as divided nations? Who gets to speak for Earth? What values, what truths, what version of ourselves do we send back? As these questions stirred public imagination, they triggered quiet tremors behind closed doors. Governments and defense agencies took notice. The signal wasn't threatening, but that didn't stop concern. Intelligence analysts, cyber warfare units, and national security teams launched their own investigations. Because if the transmission was real, it meant one thing for sure: someone else is more advanced. And that kind of technological gap? It reshapes everything: our science, our safety, and our sense of control. Meetings were held under tight wraps. Discussions turned to information management, not to deceive the public, but to prevent chaos. Leaders debated who should handle future communications. Should we speak through the UN, form a new council for space diplomacy? What does interstellar protocol even look like? These weren't theoretical questions anymore. They were urgent. Meanwhile, philosophers, ethicists, and cultural leaders dove headfirst into uncharted waters. If another intelligence has acknowledged us, are we morally obligated to reply? Would silence be seen as fear or arrogance? Should scientists answer? Or spiritual leaders? Or poets? There's no rulebook for this. All we know is this. Voyager 2, a probe built before smartphones or the internet, had become the centerpiece of a global reckoning. Its signal sparked a surge in innovation. Funding flowed into quantum communication, deep space AI, and autonomous spacecraft. Telescopes were reoriented to watch Voyager's location. Researchers hunted for gravitational anomalies, strange light shifts, anything to explain what had happened. And in universities across the globe, something unexpected happened. Students flooded into astronomy, astrobiology, and SETI programs. Space was no longer just science fiction. It was now. It was ours. Educational systems adapted. Entire departments were redesigned to include astroethics and contact theory. Children were asking real questions. What does it mean if we're not alone? What do we believe then? Religions, too, were stirred. Some faiths embraced the signal as proof of a grander design. Others paused in contemplation, wrestling with questions older than science. Why now? Why us? Houses of worship filled, not in fear, but in search of meaning. because at the heart of it all stood one aging probe still whispering through the void. Voyager 2, built with outdated tech and analog parts, had outlived expectations. But now it had done more than survive. It had connected, not just to the stars, but to the soul of humanity. The signal sparked a global awakening. For once, the world wasn't glued to headlines of conflict or catastrophe. It was united by curiosity. News cycles across every platform lit up, not with fear, but with fascination. Documentaries aired non-stop. Experts debated live. Forums exploded with theories. The mysterious signal intercepted by Voyager 2 had done the unthinkable. It gave humanity a shared moment of wonder. Across borders, cultures, and ideologies, one question hung heavy in the air. What or who sent it? Speculation turned wild and wide-ranging. Some believed the signal was a message, a simple hello from the stars. Others thought it might be a test, a way to measure how a young, fragile species handles the unknown. If that's true, then maybe we're the ones being studied now. Every action, every reaction, under quiet observation. Then came the wilder theories. What if the signal came from the future? From us? Voyager 2 carries the golden record, after all. What if the probe's own transmission had somehow bent back through time, a distorted echo of our own voice, now returned to us through the curvature of space-time? Still, others wondered if Voyager hadn't been contacted, but activated. Maybe it crossed into a sector of the galaxy designed to respond, a cosmic tripwire triggering ancient machinery left behind by a civilization long gone. A galactic archive, a warning system, a beacon. Unlikely? Maybe. But in a universe this vast, filled with dying stars, drifting ruins, and forgotten worlds, even the whispers of lost empires seem plausible. No matter the theory, one truth remained. The signal was real. It was recorded, verified, studied endlessly. No follow-up transmission had come, not yet, but the door it cracked open stayed wide in the human mind. And Voyager 2, that tiny spacecraft, older than most people alive today, was no longer just a machine. It had become our envoy to the unknown, a drifting relic of Earth's ambition, now woven into a mystery that touched something far older and deeper than we expected. Each second Voyager 2 survives in the black, it carries more than data. It carries us, our fears, our hopes, our questions. It's not just a piece of hardware, it's a mirror. And the signal? It wasn't just a technical anomaly. It was a spark that ignited something more profound than anyone anticipated. It challenged our science, yes, but it also shook our identity, our assumptions, even our imagination. The deeper researchers dug, the more radical the possibilities became. What if the signal didn't follow any sensory logic we understand? What if it operated across dimensions, using time as a variable, not a constant? Its patterns weren't phonetic. They didn't resemble sound or language. Instead, the transmission behaved like oscillations in a space of ideas, data not built for human cognition, but something stranger, something alien, something post-biological. To even begin to understand it, scientists turn to artificial intelligence, not to decode it, but to empathize with it. AI models were trained on chaos theory, abstract math, and quantum patterns, in search of resonance, not translation. Not words, but harmony. Like tuning forks across the stars, trying to find a frequency we could feel before we could understand. And then came the next breakthrough. What if the signal isn't a message at all? What if it's a system? Not a conversation, but an interaction. A kind of cosmic software, waiting for input, waiting to engage. Suddenly, this wasn't about decoding. It was about responding, about touching the unknown, not with answers, but with presence. The signal marked a turning point, not just for science, but for human consciousness. Because now, the universe wasn't just a backdrop to our story. It had started whispering back. The Voyager 2 signal may be doing more than we realize. In labs and observatories around the world, researchers began designing bold new responses, not in words or images, but in rhythm. Their replies mimicked the original signal's structure: pulses of frequency, harmonic waves, and layers of algorithm-generated quantum noise. A language of pattern, not language. The goal? Trigger a response, proof that something or someone was listening. But there was no guarantee of dialogue. The intelligence behind the signal, if it exists, might not be waiting for an answer. It could be like a lighthouse, sweeping the cosmos without care for who sees its light. Or worse, it could be watching, silently analyzing us through the reflection of our own reaction. Some theorists warned the first message may not have been the beginning, but a probe in itself. And then a chilling idea took root. What if the signal had already spread? Voyager 2, after all, is tied to the Deep Space Network, a complex web of global communications. If the signal contained embedded structures, it might have resonated through our systems unnoticed. Like a digital gene, it could echo across frequencies, leaving behind microscopic changes, not destructive but transformative. This possibility triggered a sweeping reanalysis of global electromagnetic data. Decades of radio telescope archives, once dismissed as noise, were re-examined with fresh eyes and smarter algorithms. And in the static, something stirred. Faint echoes, recurring shapes, patterns resembling the Voyager 2 signal going back years. Had we been receiving these signals all along and simply failed to see them? Was Voyager 2 finally positioned at the right place, at the right time, to receive one in full? Some believed the answer lay in its path. Voyager's route wasn't planned with purpose. It was shaped by gravity and math in the 1970s. And yet, by sheer alignment or something more deliberate, it may have crossed into an interstellar data stream. Theorists floated the idea of galactic ley lines, not made of stone or magnetism, but of information itself. Invisible highways of energy etched into the very framework of the cosmos. Only quiet, passive instruments like Voyager could detect them, because anything louder would disrupt the signal. From this emerged a radical theory. What if the universe isn't just made of matter and energy, but information? At the smallest scale, the universe could be not a place, but a code. And the signal? Not a message, but syntax. Voyager 2 may have stumbled into a mathematical constant, a universal operating system, not alien, not terrestrial, but embedded into the architecture of reality. And while science grappled with this idea, another wave of curiosity surged, not from telescopes, but from texts. A branch of researchers turned to archaeoastronomy, exploring how ancient civilizations understood the stars. They weren't chasing ancient aliens. They were searching for patterns, alignments, symbols, mythologies that mirrored the signal structure. What if this wasn't the first time? What if the signal has come before, and we, thousands of years ago, interpreted it as prophecy, omen, or divine will? The possibility that the transmission is cyclical, returning at intervals through human history, suggested something even more mind-bending: surveillance. A long-term cosmic watchtower observing emerging civilizations until one finally reached back. This idea fits neatly into the zoo hypothesis, the theory that Earth is being silently monitored by advanced civilizations, only intervening at key developmental thresholds. Voyager 2, in this view, might have accidentally tripped an invisible wire, and now the watchers are watching back. But even as public fascination surged, scientists remained cautious. The signal, strange and structured as it was, didn't prove contact. It proved something else. It proved we'd hit a mystery that refuses to be ignored. That mystery didn't stay in one corner of science. It spilled into philosophy, ethics, and biology. Bioethicists began crafting speculative protocols, just in case the signal carried more than sound. What if it included patterns capable of generating life? Instructions for synthetic biology, a blueprint for existence. Chemists questioned whether coded frequencies could trigger life-forming reactions. Entire conferences formed around a simple, staggering question: can a message create life? And as all this unfolded, one aging probe, older than most of the scientists now studying its data, continued its lonely drift across the stars. Voyager 2, launched on cassette-era tech, may have become something more than a machine. It's now a question floating in the dark, a cosmic thread connecting us not just to the stars, but to possibilities we're only just beginning to imagine. If this story fascinated you, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more mind-bending updates. What do you think? Was this the beginning of contact or something far stranger? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes on the stars.